Does that actually... that also works through the OBS thing. I'm just talking. We're live now. Welcome. I'm just trying to figure out the link between my Touch Portal app and OBS again, because it's been a while since I used it. But I figured, you know what? Might as well. Okay. What are we gonna do today? First and foremost, we're gonna be finishing up everything around here that we set up last time. There's a lot that we set up last time. YouTube might not be receiving enough video. YouTube can go fuck itself. Immediately got demonetized. Let's see. Somebody asking about C++ in my comment section. We'll respond to that later. Live streams, there we go. Just gotta figure out the... How does YouTube's interface work? It's really annoying. Is it in Go Live? That gets you to your live dashboard. Of course it does. I am live, right? Oh, I'm dropping a whole lot of frames. Hold on, I know what's going on. I'm uploading to Google Drive. Let's cut that the fuck out. I'm still dropping frames. That's not good. Are we having one of those days again? We might be having one of those days again. Yeah, it's just like every frame is dropping. Okay, it seems to stabilize now. Probably just like needed to finish uploading like a packet. I think it's stable now. So the first little bit there was laggy. I'm sorry about that. You see, YouTube, this is why you don't give me a pop-up that I'm not giving you enough data when everything is fine, because then I don't believe you when everything is not fine. It's the website Who Cried Wolf. Let's actually move my live chat to the left side of my screen so that I can more easily see it. I think that's good. There we go. Welcome, everybody, and I think we are pretty much good to go now. Okay, so as I was saying, which you probably didn't hear, is we're going to be first and foremost finishing up everything in here, which is mostly changing these things to being moving platforms, which I just realized before I started streaming. We made a blueprint for that last time. I already have a blueprint that is more suitable to all that stuff, so we'll use that one. And then we'll probably be moving on to fucking something. I don't know what. We'll probably... I think we only have like 2 or 3 rooms left in this dungeon to do, so we'll actually maybe finish things up soon. For now, though, we also need to add in the like spikes or the flames or whatever they are for this. That's probably something that we'll also want to add immediately here. For that, I'll probably need to make a separate blueprint as well. Yeah, okay, so let's leave this little bit for last then. We're gonna go just through here and start here then. Okay. I made this like moving platform blueprint. I'm not gonna reopen all blueprints. I made this like moving platform blueprint or whatever I called it. I think it's like literally moving platform, like platform. Yeah, moving platform. But if I just take the pusher, did I call it stomper? Yeah, I have a BP stomper as well, which this one actually has a damage box to it as well, so maybe we don't want to do that. That's a fucking great point. And we're also animating that But we also have a different run. Yeah, Stomper auto move. So if we just... Like, this pretty much has the same thing going for it, except for the fact that it has a damage box. So maybe we should set this up differently. Or maybe we shouldn't care. I thought I was being clever there. Maybe I'm not really being clever. Let's call this just like moving platform. Where are you? Yeah, and let's just add some of the code that we have here, which is to like set the play rate. I think we need to do that for this. The only thing we need to copy over is the delay. So I'm going to add in delay nodes here for starting at the like end and the start, how long it needs to stay at those in case we need that for these things. Because these things are only supposed to push and not actually damage you, right? So that's how they differ. So this will be at the very end here. I guess we want this to be a switch on direction instead of a flip-flop, just cause. And then if it's forward, we delay that. If it's backward, we delay through that. And then we do that, and then this, and then everything will be fine. Guess we make a variable for both of these. And then time wait at... What are we going to call this? Bottom, I guess, is the start. And then the top will be time wait at end. These might be the wrong way around as far as like naming goes, but we'll see. So I think that's everything that we needed to change about that, because nothing else here really like needs to do anything, I don't think. I guess we can put in, first and foremost, these two needs to be exposed. We can put in a start reversed, where we remove all this. How did we set that up here? So yeah, start reverse is true. We reverse instead of normal play. That much makes sense. But then we also, I think, before that somewhere, we set the start offset to 1 minus the start offset if start reverse is true. We can do that before set new time. I need to clean it up at some point. So that does everything in a way that makes sense. So we have the start offsets will be set to subtract. If we just put that in there, 1 minus. There we go, there we go. All right, that should now be all up to speed with this. So we have the start offset will be 1 minus that. Yes. Okay. That means that our platforming thing is ready to go. So we can get a BP moving platform. And we will copy the transform from this one. Then we'll just take this arrow, move it around, and now we need to have a mesh to put in there. So let's just make one. This is 250 by 250 by 100. Let's just stick with that for now. I guess I can just kind of replace this actor with a static mesh and then or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Let's go just into modeling mode. This will be easier to make this way anyway. So we'll just say like 250 by 250 by 100, right? That's really all there is to it. And then the pivot location will be on the base. That makes sense. I think this thing has the pivot location on the corner though. Yeah, that's probably better if we do that as well. So we X-form, I think, right? Added pivot. 1, 2. I think these need to move in increments of 50 now. Yeah. Okay, so we now have this box. If we set this box to be this static mesh, that is very annoying. Okay. So first and foremost, I think the pivot point is outside of the actual. So how did that happen? Oh, that actually makes sense. Because this thing is 250 by 250, we moved it 150 off. So that means that we need to move it by 25. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 or 5, I believe. And then we can start moving in increments of 50 again. Let's see, I think that means that it needs to be, that's one too much. I think it needs to be here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we can get rid of this block out now. And we just kind of copy that over, right? So we say duration is like 2. Distance to travel is 1, 2. Oh, let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's make that 3 seconds actually. So distance to travel will be 700 units. It doesn't wait at the start or the end. And from here we just kind of start copying these things over, is what I'm thinking. So transform, boom. So how's everybody doing today? You guys are all having a good time in chat, it seems. So that's nice. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 500 units for this one. We're going to need to test this in a moment anyway. And then I guess we kind of just copy this one over. I just want to move the arrow. Thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that works for me. And then this one just moves 700 as well. So we just, yeah, copy it over too. Right, I think that's all there is to it. Let's test this out. It's nothing too fancy, nothing too difficult, obviously. But it'll do. And that, oh yeah, these things definitely need to move as well. And they need to be a fair bit bigger. These things are, I think, 500 by 500. Yeah, 500 by 500 by 100. These also are supposed to move, I believe. I don't remember. I think they are. So yeah, let's make a quick box. It's just twice the size, 500 by 500. And we X-form, added pivot. I think that's the right pivot point at the corner. So we select that. And let's just, yeah, we can just copy this one over, right? And then, that's not the right pivot point, I don't think. It's okay, that's okay, that's okay. We can just move the pivot point around. So I think it needed to be here? Nope. Don't turn off my monitor, please. I still need, I have a new monitor and I need to set up its like sleep mode, because at the moment, even if I'm actively like using my PC, it goes into sleep mode after like, I don't know, 3 hours or something like that. Why would you? Fuck yourself. And I haven't really gotten around to like changing its settings for that yet at all. So that's one. Oh, that's annoying. Now we need to figure out how much this needs to go up. So let's try to figure that out. Pretty easy to figure out, actually. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900. And let's make this move a little bit slower as well. So that'll be 900. And then this is also 900. I guess we can just take this negative 900. I guess that's good enough. No, it's not. Let's move this 100 down and make this 1,000. Just because otherwise this is gonna severely annoy me at some point. Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay. And then turn it around. Plus 1,000. It's not quite on par with these, actually. Oh, and these also aren't. Yeah, I probably should have them like that, eh? Oh, which means that I should have this one like that as well. Which means that I should this one be like that as well. Which is not that bad. I don't know what I'm complaining about. That's entirely fine. Yeah. So let's do these next ones, because I don't really know how they're supposed to move. So this one's definitely supposed to be moving this way, which means that this one should move this way, and this one that way. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's say 1,000 units, which it already says. That's fantastic. So we can just copy this over. And maybe this needs to be less than 1,000 units in this direction. Because between this one and that one definitely isn't 1,000 units. All right. Or 2,000 rather. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think I counted all right, but that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's good enough. Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. What happened there? Thank you. I know that setting up these moving platforms might not be the most exciting thing ever. We're going to get into some more fun stuff in a moment, hopefully. But you know, shit needs to be done. Let's check it out from all the way back over here on whether or not it works. It is so non-exciting that everybody seems to have actually left as well. That goes to show you something. Yeah. These are lined, aren't they? That's actually probably a nice platforming challenge, though. These platforms are a lot bigger than I thought they were gonna. Fuck. Than I thought they were gonna be. Oh, we can make that thing go. That thing goes down, and they're on the same cycle, so we probably want these to be moving a little bit faster, so that they're on a offset cycle, so that they don't exactly move 100% the same up and down as side to side, like direction and speed. But for the most part, this is fine. Then we get to this, and now we get to this, and this is where these actually need to stay around for a moment. Actually, I think it's probably good if both of these stay for like a second and a half in both the up and the down position. And then they take 6 seconds to travel. So that's a little bit better, I think. Alright, that gets us to these fucking things. These can only move to the left, because if they move to the right, oh, that's right. I need to build something in to make them stop and go back to their original position as well, and to make them start up again, which is another thing that I need to set up, which is not too difficult actually. We can just custom event, restart, movement, and then custom event. Can we timeline stop? Is that a thing that we can do? That is a thing that we can do. And then we can just set the actor's location to the start location again when we stop. So stop movement. Because we're not using timelines anymore, or animations rather, we need to be able to like do this through some events instead, which is fine. Just something that I forgot for a moment. Because yeah, when we get here, I do want these to be moving like this one from left to right, this one from left right to left, and this one then from left to right again. But obviously, if this one moves this direction, it's gonna be sticking into this bit, which we don't want. So we only want that to be happening once we get to some point in here. Fantastic question where? I'm not entirely sure. I guess once we... That is a great question. Because once we jump down here... I'll think about that in a moment. Hello, King Manny and I still don't know. Is it just Zebra? I'm feeling a little bit more stressed out about level design because now I need to actually start thinking about movement, and I don't know where I'm going to make these things start moving and stop moving because they need to be linked to a. Then again, I could just make them all move to the left and not bother with that. That could probably be better. It'd be easier, that's for fucking sure. So for now, let's just do that. And if we really want to, we can set something up. Specifically for this one, it's difficult because once we get to like over here, there's like 5 different ways of this platform, which all need to trigger this thing to stop animating. So I'd have to set up like a trigger volume here and a trigger volume here and a trigger volume for that here. But it also all need to be in places where you don't see these anymore, which is a pain. So we're not going to do that. At least not for right now. If it turns out that I really do need at least one of those to be moving the other direction, we'll figure that out at some point. But that point is not right now. So let's figure out, this is 1100 by 200 by 100, so we'll just make a box. Matter of fact, we'll actually just... can we do that easily? Change this around? No, we'll just make a new box, that's fine. What did I say? 1100 by 200, right? I think that's what I said. That's what we're going to go with. Pivot location should be at the base. I wish that I could put the pivot location while making the box. Can I? No. Zebra, like Deborah with a C is fine. Looking forward to today's stream. Well, did you ping yourself typing your name? Okay, that's... Didn't know that was possible, but congratulations. You surprised yourself and me. Anyway, so I think it's always annoying to figure out what like pivot point you need to use. Oh, and this is also... No, this actually is perfectly in line, I think. Never mind. I'm going to go ahead and say it's this pivot point that we're going to be using, and if it's not, I just don't really care. Well, isn't that fun? Luckily, we can just rotate the static mesh around and we'll be fine. And we can just move it back into place as well. Let's put this back to 100 units so that I know what I'm doing. That works fine, honestly. How much does this need to move now? Well, 1100 units, presumably, right? So that's... let's make it travel 1200 instead, just cause. And this is the difficult part. So these things are going to move segmented from each other. But they also need to have some overlap, and they need to like stick around for a while. So let's make them stick around for like a second and a half on both their start and their end positions. And I'll just copy, and they'll move in just 1 second. So they'll move pretty quickly. And then the start offset for this one will just be 0.3 and this one will be 0.6. And then I'll hopefully have something that looks good and plays well. You know, the ancient art of game design comes down to pulling numbers out of your ass until it works. So let's do that. Okay. I think they go in the wrong direction. Yeah, that definitely goes in the wrong direction. It kind of works, but it's not really. So let's do that the other way around. Let's put this at 6, 6. This can be a 3, 3, and this one at 0, 0. This might still be a little bit on the fast side, but we can try to figure it out. Like 1, 2. Yeah, that's definitely, they need to stick around longer. And this is the start position technically, right? So if we put that at, like, make that twice the length. I think that'll be good. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Maybe. Let's make sure that it is the right value that we're adjusting. Let's make this 15 so that there's no doubt as to which value we're working with you. Okay, so that is definitely... okay, let's go immediately in here. Time wait add finish. And then time wait add start. Turn the names for them around because that's going to be confusing otherwise. So I think like 2 seconds is fine for this and then 4 seconds for this or something like that. Oh, I missed that. They're going to move. But I do think that this is a pretty good amount of time for these to... I can't hang off of those, which is probably a good thing, because that's... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to want to be able to have my character hang off of those. So I probably could do with adding in like 1 more here, honestly. Like we're 1,000 units offset right now. So if I do 1, 2... and 1, 1, 2, and 1. That means that these are now 800 units offset. $700, $600. It's kind of difficult to figure out, actually. Better idea. Let's just offset each one of them by 500 units. Well... yeah, so they were 1,000 units. So 500 units. And then... like 1, 2. Select these two. 1, 2. Select just this one. 1, 2. And then I don't think there's much room to have another one. Well... oh, that's 10 units at a time. That's definitely 2. This might feel a little bit better. So after the block out, it's a matter of texturing and replacing the meshes. I guess the walls get textured, but the platforms might need different shapes too. Yeah, so after everything is blocked out, everything you see here is going to be remodeled in Blender using either just like flat meshes with then applied textures, with properly like UV unwrapped stuff. But some of this might gain like a little bit more like geometry detail in the walls as well, like a little bit of decoration. I'll go in and make some just like loose art assets that I can put down across. Like I already have like this skull lantern that I've used in a few places, right? Like the skull lantern. Like I'll make more of these type of things. I'll just put those down loose in the level. And all of these things over here, like the platforms, I know the dimensions of what these platforms are right now. This is 500 by 500 by 100. I might make it a little bit less tall than 100 units. But since these are just static meshes, I can just make the mesh that I want for this thing with those exact or maybe rough dimensions. Like if they end up being like 450 by 450 by 80, that's fine. And I can just go in here, static mesh, and replace it with the new one that I made. So it needs to all be adjustable afterwards. But that's the basic workflow idea, yeah. Okay, so how many of these things do we have now? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each one goes in a... So there's a start offset 1. This will be 0.8. Hey, I have a joke that you'll really love, trust me. That is definitely not an ominous thing to read in an online live stream chat, but hit me. Let's see. Yeah, it definitely probably needs to stick around a little longer, but these jumps are a lot more makeable. Those two at the end move at the same time? They seem to move at the same time. What do you call an alligator who is a detective? Move at the same time. I've got to figure that out in a moment. An alligator who is a detective. That's a good one, actually. I have no idea. What if I set this to 0.8 and then this one to 0.6? I'm trying to think. An investigator? It's probably an investigator. Yeah, an investigator. There we go. For some reason, when they go offset 1, it does something a little weird. I don't know why, but this is kind of satisfying to look at though, right? It's kind of nice. Definitely needs more time to stick around though, because it's a little bit difficult to make in 4 seconds, I feel. I mean, it's a good joke, especially since it's like gettable. I managed to get it before you said it, like literally a second before, but I got it before you said it, which is good, right? Makes for a good joke. Yeah, so I actually really love this platforming challenge, just because it's satisfying to watch these things go in and out of the wall. Imagine if when I add sounds to these, right? Because that's going to be a thing at some point as well, having to add sound design, like having these things like move boom, 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 and then a like retracting sound as well. That's going to be fucking fantastic. Gonna love that. Or it's going to sound like shit, one or the other. This is the game I've been working on for a hot minute. that I'm now doing like some platforming design for. So with that finished, we have this entire path working, I think. So we can go down here. And we can try to find the moving platforms again. Platforms, moving platform, there we go. Put that at the location of this thing and then figure out, okay, so this is 200 by, well, this is gonna need to be a lot higher. But 200 thick is probably good, and then 950 long, and then we have this thing probably at like 1,000 or something like that high. 1,000's probably good. Yeah, let's do that. So 200, 950, 1,000. 200, 950, 1,000. Love 3D platforming games. Well, it's not exactly like the whole game is going to be a 3D platformer, but it will have these platforming like segments to it. So hopefully that's fun enough. That makes sense because it's 200 wide. And then this probably needs to be done with steps of 5, which is always kind of scary. I think this is 1 too much. I think that's the pivot point we want. Setting these pivot points properly is always a little scary. But I think we have it. Well, almost. We can just move the static mesh around that, so that's fine. And then just take this. Oh. Well, actually, we moved all the way over here anyway. Okay. The duration for these movements is going to be 1 second. They need to be the exact same for both of them, so let's just select both. Then the distance to travel will be 950, right? Let's set that at 1,000, just to be sure. Then the time when they finish, this is their default position, so that will be like 2 seconds, and the time starts, so that'll be this position, I think, is 4 seconds. I'm just kind of making it up as I go, not gonna lie. And then we take these arrows, let's put them up top here where I can see them. So that'll move over there, and this one will move over here. Like, the fact that I can use these arrows for like a direction is actually so nice for level design, you have no idea. The point where I'm like, I probably should make just a video, a tutorial, just showing this idea. Because it is actually fantastic. Okay, let's see what this looks like. So it opens, gives me some time to dash through, and then closes again. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Like, again, it's not difficult. Not even slightly, obviously. I mean, you can see this. But it does what it needs to do. So yeah, these platforms don't need to change right now because they don't need to move. This is the only thing that needs to move right here. So let's just take this, copy. If those come together as giant skeleton hands, that'd be sick. That's actually a good idea. I was just, I was still thinking about what those should be. Question if the skeleton hands really like work out for this, but that could still be kind of cool. I could do something where like the fingers interlock a little bit, right? That's not a bad idea. I like that. Gonna try to keep that in mind. Gonna be a while before we get to it probably, but wait, I want to have your transform and apply to this fucker. Thank you. 500, 500, 600. So we once again just make a box. It's 500, not 5,000. You madman. 500, 500, and 600. Look, honestly, at this point, I don't care about the pivot point. Because it's just as much work to change it in the local transform as it is to change the pivot point here. And the pivot point is not actually going to matter. So I don't know why I was so obsessed with getting the pivot point right. Because half the time I get it wrong anyway. So who the fuck cares? Oh, that should definitely in its entirety move 100 units over. This is another one of those things where making this in a way where you don't need to... Why is it all the way over there? Making all this in a way where you don't need to rely on like sequence animations means that you can move things around because they all like move relative anyway. So whoever it was who said, hey, why are you using sequence animations and not just making an actor for this? Yeah, you are right. I don't like telling people that they're right, but you are right. So yeah, this just moves like 1, 2, 3, 4, 500. Like, let's move it 600 units though. Oh, and it actually moves in the opposite direction, doesn't it? It's a little confusing. You're a very humble person. Always, always. The most humble. The most humble. Yeah, let's make it 4 seconds at both ends, and then we can just like play from here real quick. Okay, so this is the idea, right? This is a obstacle at this point. Clearly. We might need to put down another platform here to make this jump makeable, and then that same block becomes a platform there. I'm unreasonably happy with this idea. Especially since I didn't come up with it myself. I just stole it from Crash Bandicoot. But yeah, this first jump is a little tricky to make. So let's... Since it is not a 3D platformer, let's make jumps reasonable. Which means that like just adding this other jump to make this jump a little easier is probably a good thing. Yeah, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's true. I'm going to put the key over here because you enter the area over here. You might be able to just make this jump, actually. I hadn't thought about that yet, but let's check that out. Because I think you can just straight up jump from this platform. Yeah, you definitely can. So that's a speedrun thing. Sure, I don't mind. The main thing is that you have to time your jumps in 2 different ways, and it's interesting and fun. And okay, so now do this, but like 50 more times over here. Well, it's not 50. And as a matter of fact, we can kind of just... Because it's all the same dimensions, and we just have to change some like speed things maybe if we want to. But even that we don't need to. Like we just put it down there and we're done. And I think 4 seconds is a pretty good one. Maybe what I'll do is make sure that these are not on the same cycle though. I would definitely want these to move the other way. Because if they're on the same cycle, that makes things maybe a little too smooth and predictable. So And even this. So the interesting thing about this is that we can make one of the two more difficult than the other, because we have a variable for how long it stays in either position. We have a variable for how long it stays in this position and for how long it stays in this position. So if we make it stay in this position for a really long time, this first jump is going to be fairly easy. If we make it stay in this position for a long time, this jump is going to be fairly easy. But we can independently change those two. So we can make both of them stay a very long time, making both jumps very easy. Or we can make this thing move back and forth real quick, making both of them very hard. Or we can make it stay very short in this position and now very long in this position, meaning that the first jump is going to be hard or easy. And then the second jump, where this functions as a platform to itself, is going to be much more difficult. So we actually have a lot of like wiggle room to work with. So I think I'm going to do something with that. And for this first one, I think we're going to stick with, in this position, it's going to stick around for 4 seconds. But then for this, it's going to be sticking around for 2.5 seconds. So just to show you, if we play from here, it'll stay gone for quite a while. But then when it pushes back out, it stays for only a couple of seconds, and then it moves back out again. So this is a little bit more of like a tricky thing. It's still plenty of fast enough to like make the jump in either direction, of course. But I think that's a pretty fun way to do it. That said, though, these two, 3 of them actually, are going to be much more difficult, because like all this leads to a fucking optional room anyway, right? So that's all good. So let's say move finish. Let's just make the base speed for all of these double. So that means that it's going to take 2 seconds to move back and 2 seconds to move like forward again. And then for this last one in particular, just because I'm a dick, we're going to also make it move faster, so you don't, like, you really need to feel the cycle of it, and it's harder to react to it. Then this one, I think we're going to go a similar route to before, where in this state it stays back a little bit longer, so that its finished position is, it's going to stay 2 seconds, and then at forward position is going to stay 1.5 seconds. And then I guess we do this one the other way around, just cuz. Let's see what that's like. Well, let's actually just make this one 1 and 1 as well. This one is going to be a fucking slap in the face, because I'm sadistic like that. Maybe put something there too. Oh yeah, definitely also put an extra platform there. Definitely also put an extra platform in here just to make it like more approachable. But we can just play from here again. We don't need to make that first jump again. No, don't do that. Yeah, also maybe like just move this one a little bit closer then. This is why play from start is such a nice feature to have. That's just okay. Definitely, this needs to be lower down. Let's see. I think this is probably good. Which this is maybe a better layout for the entire thing. I'll play through it in a moment in its entirety as well. We also need to start making those like fire platforms. We can't make these things go down too low either, because obviously it is actually not too difficult. Oh, that one is that one is a little bit oh. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Huh. How can a two-person work on the same project of Unreal 5? That's a very broad question. For the most part, if you just have like a Git repository, you can just like commit your changes and they can commit their changes, and then you can like merge those branches together when you need to. But of course, if you then both work on the same assets and they're blueprint assets, that's going to be a bit of a problem. If you're working with C++, you can, because of just binary files, you can merge them. If you both work on the same like C++ code files. But Blueprint does not have that luxury because it's like an arbitrary thing, so you can't merge them. But if you're both working in different files anyway, and you just need to like update the same project, you can just do it that way. Like push up changes when you've made some, and then the other person can pull them or whatever. How do I tell Unreal to load the same layout default when I open program? Each project. Oh, that's a fantastic question. That I don't know. That should be a way to do that, but I don't know. Okay, so what are we going to do about this? Because I didn't really think about that. Because, yeah, obviously this is going to move through the wall, like, into here. And that's going to be a problem. Project settings. Is that just like a way to snapshot your current like layout as a project settings thing? Because I'm guessing it's somewhere here in window, right? Yeah, you can save layout as, I'm guessing, and then you can probably set a layout as your default somewhere, I'm guessing. Which would be project settings would be weird because that would be different per project. So that would probably be editor preferences. But are those different per project as well, or are those consistent throughout all your editor sessions? I don't know. I don't know about a set default setting. I'm imagining that there should be one. This seems like not that difficult to create, but very valuable to have. So I'm sure there is something, just don't know where or what. Where is my gizmo? What the fuck? No, seriously, where the hell did my gizmo go? Well, I guess we can just kinda... Yeah, okay, so my ID here would be... setting this up to be like 900 units long. And if we then set it up to be up to the roof, of course, to the ceiling, whatever you want to call it. creates a little bit of a hallway that gives us a bit of opportunity to like put a trigger volume right here. And if you finagle the camera a little bit, I'm sure that you can make it so that you can, well, no, because actually, oh, that's a good point, because the camera gets, so if I put a trigger volume right here, like if you have the camera all the way over here, maybe you can see things a little bit, but it doesn't matter if you see things snapping into place a little bit. So yeah, we're going to put the trigger volume right here to turn those back into their default positions. But then we also need a trigger volume right next to it to put them back into their motion. Yeah, it's going to be annoying. But I guess that's what we're going to do now. So yeah, let's start by putting in the trigger volumes where we need to put them, because there's going to be a few of these where we need to update these. Because right now, if we just like play, all these blocks are going to be pushing out of the wall here and into that wall and whatever. Oh, that's also, ooh, did not think about that, did I? So yeah, I've just decided. I have just decided that we're going to do this slightly differently, because this is a issue in multiple different ways, and I don't want to deal with it. So what we're going to do is this is just going to be a wall. And that's just how it's going to be. No issues, no more. There we go. Kind of ruins one of the things that I had where you can like see this through there, but it's not that big a deal. So it's fine. I really don't know what's happening to my gizmos for my blockout tools, but me and my team from the Unborn project were watching for like tens. I want to say keep up, looks amazing. Thanks. Really, really nice. %100% game dev work. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is gonna be difficult to fix. Just make it like, just put it behind the wall. It's fine. It's still gonna be a bitch to fix, right? Because when we, is there any way from here? I suppose we can like jump off of here and then come back to here. So that'll, you know what? There's one very easy way to fix that as well, and that is not being in modeling mode, and that is just put a fucking blocking volume in there. And the blocking volume is gonna take the transform from this thing. I said the blocking volume is gonna take the transform from this thing. Or maybe it's not. Why doesn't it take the transform? Well, that's good enough. I don't need it to be the exact position anyway. And then I know that it has like actual values for this, but I don't care. Congratulations, now it is impossible to jump off of this. And that saves me a whole bunch of headaches. And if people do manage to jump off of this, that's their fucking problem, because at that point they're willingly breaking my game. And I don't deal with that shit. If you're doing that, it's your own damn fault if you get soft locked. We can move this back a little bit more. back a little bit more. There we go. So now I can't like jump out of this anymore, which is good because that saves me a whole bunch of issues. Because that means that whenever we get to here, we don't need to stop these blocks. We only need to stop these blocks if we go back out through here. Those blocking volumes are a real liability clause. Yes, it's just fuck it. Just throw down a blocking volume. Okay, so when we get to let's trigger. Don't get triggered. I know we're all like snowflakes here, but don't get triggered. We trigger box, get to rotation, and then we can just. We never walk on either side of this, right? Yep. It's gonna be relatively thin. Yeah, when we enter this, maybe a little bit earlier actually. Yeah, so let's actually make these start when you enter through like this little bit over here. And then we'll make them stop when you get to this area. Big Fat Cat Show. That's a fantastic username. Hello. Yeah, so let's put this pusher wall stop. Gotta give them somewhat recognizable names, otherwise I'm gonna forget what does what. Let's see, so this makes them stop, which means that they stop and then restart as you're moving down here, but that's like honestly fine. And they'll technically stop multiple times if you like jump up into this multiple times, but again, I think that's kind of fine. It's just when you're jumping back up here, they need to snap back into their original positions, which they will do. So we have this one, and then pusher blocks starts. Pusher blocks. Oh, it's called pushers wall start. Let's keep the name consistent. Oh, we have a add level sequence here. Oh, didn't know that. So we open this level blueprint. We already have some stuff in here, which... Holy hell, can you guys hear that rain? Probably getting filtered out by the noise cancellation, but holy hell, that's a lot of rain. So yeah, we can create a reference, but what we want to do is actually we want to add an event for collision, not actually begin overlap. Let's put this into my tabs because I also want to add one for this. You wish you could hear the rain? What's wrong with you? I suppose if you like rain, create references. I wish that you could create references and like just get them as an array, or when you have multiple of these things selected. I complained about this, I think, in the last stream as well. But isn't it insane that when you just select a couple of these things like this and you make array, that it doesn't just automatically make an array with all four of those added into it if they're from the same class? I guess it's difficult to make something that doesn't bug out when you select multiple things of the same class, or different classes rather. And figuring out what their like highest shared class is might be a nightmare. But just like check if everything that's selected has the same class, and if so, just make it like this immediately. That's so much easier. I do indeed like rain. Haven't gotten it in a week. If you're like thirsty for rain, which sounds like a very weird Rule 34, I can get why you would want rain. I don't mind the sound of rain, to be honest. As long as I'm inside, it's all fine. So this will restart. Oh, we need to for each loop over them. So this will restart movement, and this will stop movement for all of them. And we need to check whether the overlapped actor is actually get player character. Oh no, the other actor. I always make that mistake. The overlapped actor is the actor that got overlapped. In my defense, I think that could be named a little bit more intuitively. But it's like, it is what it says. So it's definitely like, still mostly my bad. Okay, so let's test this out to see if this works to begin with. By default, all this should be moving, which we can check by just decoupling from our player. Is all of this moving? All of this does seem to indeed be moving. Then when we couple back to our player, if we... what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh! Oh, yeah, okay, so we'll get to that in a moment. Don't worry about that. Oh, the phone. Uber Eats, shut the fuck up. So if we just move down this thing, at some point we will have triggered that trigger volume. And I don't think we've triggered the second one yet. So now they all should be in their default positions. No, they're not. Some of them are. What the hell? Sounds like it's just not implemented. If they realized that it'd be useful, I'd reckon they would have added it to the engine, right? Might be giving them too much credit. There might also just be a way that I'm not aware of, that I haven't found yet, but I've actually like actively looked for this. And I don't think that's a thing that you can do. But maybe I'm just missing something. That's entirely possible as well. Why? Why did it not do the thing? It didn't stop him. I definitely went through the collision for this one. Hold on. I want to have multiple viewports, because that's going to make it so much easier to check on this shit. Okay. Does that not show a live feed of what's happening? I don't think that shows me a live feed of what's happening. That's really annoying. I thought it would. So then why do I even have multiple viewports? Okay, so they're all moving. All of them are moving. Then when I run down, I think it's that one, but I'm gonna go through like one more time. These two have stopped. That one and that one have not. Why? No, seriously, why? Why would that be? Because they're all in the same array. Oh yeah, so the multiple viewports thing just like literally doesn't do what I thought it would. So why does it not stop them? Like stop movement, restart movement. Stop movement. Oh, this might be something to do with that. That would be weird. No, that's probably that couldn't be it. I'm going to take a very quick bathroom break because I've been drinking a lot of water to stay hydrated throughout the stream. And then I'll be back in a moment. There was a huge fucking fly just hanging out in my bathroom. Well, it's not my fucking problem. Well, it kind of is. But what could have been causing all that? Could it be something to do with this? That would be really weird. Name it. You come up with a name for it, and then I will kill it later tonight. Yeah. So these are like this is 21, and that's 18, right? So let's just stop movement. Set the start location. Goodbye, Steven07. Okay, that's what we're gonna name it, and that's gonna fucking kill it. So yeah, this is supposed to stop movement. It's supposed to stop the timeline. Oh, actually, restart movement definitely should start later as well, because we need to stop all this. So like restart movement should start here. But that's not the issue here, I don't think. Let's try again and see what happens when we run into that trigger volume. I'm probably not gonna. Could you move out of the way, please? Probably not actually gonna kill it. I don't generally like kill bugs. I'm one of those weird people. The only thing that I can think about is that it maybe. Okay, so it stopped 3 of them this time. It seems to just randomly stop or not stop. So the only thing that I can potentially think is that it's somehow, when I'm triggering it twice, it's doing weird stuff. Let's see if it gets all of them from the array. For some reason, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, that definitely gets all of them from the array. What the hell is even up with my gravity? Okay, that's made them stop twice. Oh, that's fucking something. Oh, now I made them restart again, I think. Let's stop him again. At least now I know when I trigger it because it has a print string. I thought I was the only one who curses this much during dev. Then you've never heard anybody else coding ever. What the? How? Okay, different ID. It's definitely finding all of them. Is it like how many is it actually running this thing on? On all four. Stops playback of timeline. That makes sense. But it doesn't seem to be doing that at all. Confusion is you could say that, yeah. I don't know why it would be doing that. Because it's still like it's clearly still playing the timeline, right? That's not gonna help because there's gonna be like 50 of these things. We need to change up some of the code here anyway in a minute. But let's not think about that right now. Fucking water. Whatever the fuck. I don't. Get a display name for like this object and make it print out, I guess, for duration of get world delta seconds. Assuming the timelines work on delta seconds, right? Be weird if they didn't. Wait, what? There we are. Okay, so they don't work on delta seconds. They probably work on like the physics loop then. So that's not helping, like at all. But if they work on the physics loop, I think that's set to just like 1/100th of a second, right? Why even does it do that? Oh, because it starts in a separate. Okay, so that's not really helpful either. Holy print strings. Yeah, that's. Okay, so right now, so all of them are working, so I don't think I've triggered the thing yet. Surely now I have triggered the thing. I didn't trigger anything. What the fuck? Seriously, I am very, like, heavily confused. Why? Why? Why would this not work? Unless somehow the where am I? Unless somehow the like restart movement trigger volume is interfering with this somehow. Let's just disconnect that. I mean, this doesn't need to be that big, admittedly. Could probably do with making this a little less gigantic. Just so we can see everything a little bit better. Wait, what? How large was this thing? I think the issue might be in the fact that I'm triggering it twice. As well. So maybe this will fix something. Still shouldn't make a difference, but who knows. I surely have triggered it at this point, right? It's right here, I think. Fucking, now I definitely have triggered it. Yeah, because this one stopped moving. So why is there a selectiveness to which ones stop moving and which ones don't stop moving? Let's see if anybody else is this. Unreal actors in for each loop. Stop timeline not working. Let's see. Yeah, all this is even more complicated than what I'm trying to do. For loop doesn't work. No, that's the issue. The for loop does work. It's the timeline that's fucking me up. So what I'm guessing is happening is because like this might be getting triggered on the normal game loop, and the timelines might be working on either like a different loop or like asynchronously altogether. They might not be getting updated properly or something like that because of it, which would be fucking weird. It will be bullshit if we need to do it this way, but let's see if we, instead of doing stop movement, if we get timeline and we stop through this instead, just to see whether or not this makes a difference. We fall through, we fall through, we fall through. That should be all the falling through we need to do, I think. Does this make any sort of difference? Well, the first one definitely stopped. It's not even consistent which ones do and don't stop. It's legitimately just random. Um, Unreal timeline stop not working. Fucking. Can you not stop it while it is playing? You can stop a timeline playback by using reference to it like so. No. That definitely still has issues. Timeline not stopping properly. Thank you. Does the array have to be a variable? That would be fucking weird, but we can try it in a moment. Let's try it right now, actually. I don't see any reason for that to make a difference. The only difference is going to be that it moves well, I guess. No. Maybe something weird with Blueprint makes this happen this way. But I don't think that will be the issue, actually, because it is running that function on everything in the array. So it is something to do with the timeline component itself. I'm like 99% sure. But let's just check it out and maybe that'll fix it. It's never a bad idea to try. But I doubt it. Just fucking jumping my way down. I think we're still outside of the trigger range for the other one. What the fuck? Why? Is this consistent or am I just getting lucky this one time? That's also a thing that I need to double check. Yeah, so maybe that seems to work. But I have no idea why that works. Which is the messed up bit. Yeah, no. We just got lucky. We just got lucky. It doesn't actually work. We just got lucky. It worked one time. Doesn't actually solve the issue. Okay, we're going to do this differently. I am 1000% sure that it's something to do with this function being weird. So what we're going to do instead is make a variable here is active, the default value of which will be true. And when we stop movement, we just set it to false. Then we set this start location to right there. And then in this update, this is not efficient, by the way. I want to point out this is horrible to do it this way, but this will be more stable, hopefully. And only when is active will we be moving this thing. And in the worst case scenario, we just do this in the false output here as well. And then when we restart, we set is active back to true. This way we don't need to stop the timeline, because we'll just stop the timeline from doing shit. If it doesn't work now, I'm going to actually lose it. But this way, which is actually nice, we can also expose the is active in the editor, and we can say which ones need to start as like not being active, right? Because we have these ones over here, like these ones, and this one need to all start as not being active because they are clipping into, well, not this one, but in the interest of like having everything synced up. These need to start as not active, and only when we like get to this bit over here do they need to activate. So yeah, that's actually a nice little bit of functionality that we have in there now. See, now that one doesn't move, and now if we go through all this, there's no way that they're moving, right? There's no way that these are moving now. So there we fucking go. That seems to have fixed the issue. It's a horrible fix. But a horrible fix that works is better than a efficient fix that doesn't work, so I'll friggin' take it. Let's go with that. So yeah, now let's check if we... There's also another moving platform thing that I need to set up in a moment, actually. I just forgot. These things, I think I also want to move, right? Maybe I don't actually need these to move. Well, isn't that an issue? Oh, I don't think I have... Hold on, I don't think I have these connectors, right? Yeah, that's the issue. This is actually, in a way, kind of nice. Because if I go through this activation thing multiple times now, it's not going to reset them to the start every single time. So that's actually a good thing. Matter of fact, I don't need this to be connected at all anymore. I can just... It's just going to pick up where it should be at that point in time. So that also makes it... Why do I have Unreal open twice? What the... I'm not going to say that was maybe the cause of the issue, because that would be copium, honestly. But maybe that was the cause of the issue. We'll never know. Okay, so when we go through here now and we come out, we should see everything is moving properly. And then when we come back up, yeah, these jumps are a little bit difficult. Like these ones are okay. That's just the first one that's a little tricky. But yeah, when we come back up here, we should see that they are all stuck in... Oh, they're stuck in... What the fuck? Why are they moving again? I don't know. Where's the loop for movement in your code? That's the timeline. But like this timeline here, I would accept it if it just said it one more time and then the next update through, it wouldn't update it anymore. That would be doable to deal with, but it, like, this should never run when isActive is set to false. And when we run through the stop movement trigger box here, which is the second to the last jump, and there's no way to avoid it, that should make them stop moving. So I've got a better idea, actually. Like, I should be able to... Yeah, so this one is active. The moment I like jump down here, it's no longer active. When I go through here, it becomes active. Your code restarts the timeline after it finishes the timeline. It doesn't restart the timeline anywhere. It's just flipping a bool at this point. But it only works once. The trigger volumes only work once? Is that the issue? Hold on. Is that the issue? You see this, like restart movement only changes the is active, and the stop movement only changes the is active and sets the location. So like, it doesn't actually stop the timeline anymore, because that was inconsistent. But now it's inconsistent in a different way, which is weird. But I'm guessing that trigger volumes might only fire once. I don't think that's true, though. I don't think that's true at fucking all. Yeah, because we definitely went through this a number of different times and saw it print out the names a number of different times. Yeah, so if I do this and then I... Wait. Okay, no, it definitely does run more than once. This model account should be relatively simple. I don't know why it's not. But when we trigger that trigger box again... What the fuck? Okay, so now is actives get set back to false. And when we come over here, it's back to true. I didn't change anything other than adding that print string node. This is fucking Schrodinger's bug. I swear to God. Could it be that it's trying to... No, because it's not stopping the timelines. Okay, I'm going to try one more time like this. The exact pin for the new event node will fire each time the particular event occurs. Yes, I know, but that doesn't really like change anything. Like whenever I go through this on overlap thing, like it's supposed to set the is active to false, but if it's already false, that doesn't really do anything. The issue that I was having is it didn't seem to be triggering a second time. For some reason, but now it does. So something is just like really weird about this. When I go through here, it'll stop moving in a mo... You see, now it didn't activate. Like it didn't trigger the trigger box when I went into it this time. Because the is active value does not get changed. Or at least it didn't change it for platform 18. I suppose for platform 18 it doesn't actually matter that much. Wait, they are all stopped. Why doesn't it display... Huh. Okay. So maybe that's just not a consistent way to check that. Let me just like physically go down. Hello, and no idea what that means. Okay, so they're all moving, right? Every single one of them is moving. Let's put in a little bit of a block there in a moment. So if I just move up, back up here, does this make... They're all not moving now. Okay, so I guess it works now. I didn't change anything, but it works now. Sure, why not? Welcome to Coding 101. I didn't change anything, but it works now, and we're just gonna fucking ignore it. Yeah, so these oh, we have trigger spheres. I want to trigger box. So whenever we enter this trigger box over here, we'll make it a little bit thicker, because why not, I guess. Matter of fact, let's just make it encompass this entire area, because we can. Don't need to be very exact with all this shit. And we definitely don't want people to be skipping over this area. Like, if people manage to sneak their way through this, it'll be bad. So might as well just like trigger it all the way through here. That's fine. And then this, I guess when we come back up here, we stop it again. So this is key obstacles start and key obstacles stop. I've got something in my nose, man. It's really annoying. It's really itchy. Okay, we have the stop. So we overlap. And wrong blueprint. I think it's just faster to double click like this. Is there a shortcut for just adding overlap event in your blueprint for? Probably not. Maybe there is. I don't know. I don't care. And then we like get these three. We're just going to use the make array because I don't want to be like making an array for every single one of them. Didn't really change anything anyway. Reference to selected actors. Make array. 1, 2. Other actor. Let's just copy this over 2 times. Probably should just make a macro for that or something, because we use this a lot. But here we are, doing it manually every time. Anyway. For each. Both this array. This is stop movement. I guess we call it restart movement, but it really should just be start movement. I don't care. Yeah, so this should now also work for those, because it worked so well in the other scenario. Let's just... Okay. They aren't moving right now, right? None of them are. Yeah, that's good. And when I go down here, by the time I get there, yep, they're all moving. At least these two are. And that one seems to be as well. So, fuck, I actually needed to check whether or not they stop moving when I go back up. They should, but you can never be too careful. So it starts playing from here. So these move, right? Yes, they do. That one does as well. That one does as well. Good. And then when I move back up, I'm like, actually, I want to go over here. Maybe those should be hang-offable, grabbable. These are no longer moving now. So yeah, this seems to be pretty consistently working now. Yeah, we're just gonna keep these always moving because they just like do this, and I actually quite like the satisfying like staggering effect that these have. Wait a moment. Why do those two move together now? What's up with that? That shouldn't be the case. I was just bragging about the staggering movement being kind of cool. This is 0.8, this is 0.6, this is 0.4, so why the fuck would those move together? They shouldn't. They really shouldn't. I have no idea why they do that. Let's look again. Yeah, they don't do it here. Did they just like fall out of sync or something? Maybe I just saw incorrectly. Yeah, they're definitely staggered. I'm guessing me going into F8 mode might have messed with them a little bit because it freezes the game up for like a split second. Anyway, aside from making some of these things grabbable, which by and large, like these things being grabbable, probably not a bad thing. Let's make these grabbable as well. Oh, we can't do that on mask, can we? That's annoying. Unless we can do it through here, maybe? No. Yeah, so we need to do it on an individual basis here. So block all dynamic should become custom, but I can copy the collision preset, right? Yeah, so I can just say this, then I can go every single one of them. Oh, I need to go custom and then I can paste. Even then I cannot, what the, that's annoying. Can I, okay. At that point, just copying it over is not even worth anymore. Two were definitely in sync. Yeah, I'm guessing it's something to do with me using F8 and like looking up the game for a moment. That's what I'm choosing to believe. Because otherwise I need to figure out what the fuck happened there, and I really don't feel like doing that right now. But thanks for checking. That's actually pretty smart. That's the, well, not the one upside. There's more than just that as an upside. But that's a big upside to having everything documented this way. Is people can just like look at the footage, including me, but I just didn't think about it. Yeah, these shouldn't be grabbable because they move all the way out, and that's, I'll just show you what happens if they're grabbable. We don't want that to be the case. If I make this thing grabbable, and I say, hey, play from here, and I grab onto the edge of this thing, which is actually a pretty, pretty tight jump to make to begin with, because you need to jump exactly at the edge and not any further. There we go. It will move me with them, I think. Oh! Huh. That works better than I thought it would. Except for the fact that, of course, like, it keeps me hanging and it doesn't... I thought it was going to pull me through the wall. Yeah, I don't know what's going on at this point. I thought it was going to pull me through the wall. It didn't, but it has other issues. So we're going to not do that. And we'll just make these non-growable. Yeah, the wall grabbing sometimes breaks to begin with. I don't really know what causes it. I think it is a matter of the jump animation not finishing or something, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I need to no, because that's not tied to the animation at all. I need to take another closer look at that code and see what might be going wrong there at some point, but that's not of prime importance right now. What is of prime importance right now is the fact that I think we have finished setting up all the moving bits here, because originally I was gonna make this moving as well, but I really don't think that I need to. It doesn't really add anything. There's not a lot of room to have movement here. No, it's not that it's seeing another valid grabbing location. I'm pretty sure. Because, well, it might be. No, because no. Because if it is, it should also stop my movement, maybe. I don't know. Could be, actually. No, it could not be. Because it only checks for grabbable locations when you're moving downward, I think. And it snaps you into location when it finds a grabbable location. What's actually happening, I think, is that it's not resetting the gravity back to original gravity at some point. I don't know why that would be. But I'm using a gravity setting anyway. I probably should be changing the movement mode instead of setting the gravity. I don't know if I am doing that. Let's check it out. Action RPG, character, ledge, grab. So yeah, what it does here is it does a line trace on channel 1. If it sees the... Oh, it does it on channel 1. There we go. If it sees a ledge, it does another line cast forward to align you with that edge. It checks that, and if that is true as well, it sets the axis location to the impact point of that thing with an offset along a normal. It stops the character movement immediately, and it sets the gravity scale to 0. And it sets your axial rotation, and it sets your hanging to being true. And it attaches you to that actor that you hang off so that you move with it if it's a moving actor. Like I set that up at some point in the past. And then in jumping, if you're hanging, it sets the hanging to false and it detaches you from the actor that you're attached to. And then your character movement's velocity just gets directly set to a jumping velocity and stuff like that. So it doesn't actually set you back to 0 or normal gravity. That's interesting. This should probably also return, just to be sure. So then it follows that what might be happening is that I'm setting the gravity back to normal in the animation, which would be fucking dumb. But let's check it out. I'm getting very sidetracked right now. Blueprint, characters, player. This is just the easiest way I know off the top of my head to get to my player animation blueprint, which might have a function for that. Disable jump, reset recovery, no. Hang jump, no. I wanted to have a hang jump, not a normal jump. Yeah, hang jump doesn't. How do I reset my gravity back to normal? What? Where's my tick events? Should be up here somewhere. Attack. Tick. Is it somewhere in here? Oh no, that's I wanted to just Control F. Get character movement, gravity scales, stored gravity divided by 2, but I don't use that anymore. This is in begin play. Temp graph scale is, yeah, don't care. Oh, there's and jump. But that doesn't do anything like that either. Yeah, so I don't know why it doesn't always do that at this point, actually. Because if ledge grab, gravity scales set to 0. Well, anyway, set movement mode will be E movement mode. Oh. Movement mode will be set to flying. So yeah, and then while hanging is true, the entire like movement is just ignored, I think, as well. So in the movement code, it just doesn't add any movement input if B hanging is true. And then in the jump here, we will get character movement. And then set movement mode to E movement mode. Falling would be good. Okay, we can just patch that in with live coding for now. Don't need to reset the entire engine for that. This might break me somewhere else, because it might still be setting the gravity scale to something somewhere that I'm not aware of. But I couldn't find it, so maybe not. I don't fucking know. Let's see. Like this is grabbable. Actually, it's probably easy to, yeah. Okay, so it doesn't play the hanging animation now, but it does do all that. Yeah, so it doesn't do the proper animations anymore. Wonder why that is. Oh, that would probably be to do with something in here, right? Because if we are hanging, this is the hanging states. Oh, and it's not getting those values because of the live coding thing. Yeah, okay, no, that's fine. Let's just save everything. I just want to make sure that everything works, so I'm actually going to rebuild to make sure that it's not like live coding variable names being weird, because it does that sometimes. Oh no. Oh no. What's the issue? Well, the issue is that Unreal Engine is still open, I think, maybe. That might just be the issue. Because I didn't originally open Unreal through Rider. And it's really upset when you do that. That's also why I had two Unreals open. I opened the project through the EU project file, and then I was like, oh no, if we need to change code, I need to have it open through Rider. And then I built through Rider, so that's why I had two Unreal Engine instances open. Everything makes sense now. Look, that's the downside to having an upgraded PC, is that I just do not notice when I have Unreal open twice. Especially if it's in this scene, right? This scene is like very, very lightweight. Let's go back into 113. And then this was a pretty good place to test this shit out. So if I just grab onto this, yeah, it doesn't actually do that, but it, like, all that works. Wait. So, okay, fuck level design, we're gonna be fixing this stuff. So it's, I guess the issue might be is that it doesn't go from, it might skip over the is falling because it stays in the idle movement. So if it's not falling, it'll never go into the hanging state. So I guess what we'll actually do is we'll remove this and we'll add a state alias, global alias. And make this hanging state. So that way we don't get this issue where we skip the falling. Yeah, there we go. And it, yeah, there we go. I guess we can technically like hang off of this now. So whenever we get around to replacing this with a static mesh, we'll make this specific platform. Again, that one under us and that one like above us, not ledge grabbable as well. Yeah, and when we ledge grab, we probably want to like have the weapon disappear because it's clipping through now. But that's all kind of polished stuff that we'll get around to later. For now, this seems to work fine. Let's make our way back up. And see if we can easily grab onto those moving platforms as well. That has any issues with it. So maybe we've just fixed a bug that I've been dealing with for fucking forever. So that would be nice. I really should just use my controller for all this. Let's see. If I grab onto you, see, it lifts me up with it, and then I can just jump up onto it. So even the moving platforms now work without too much trouble. There we go. Okay, cool. And if I fall down in between these, it even lets me catch these, so that's kind of nice. Okay, that was just a skill issue. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just literally just a skill issue. Oh, does this now? Oh, we have our gizmos back as well since we restarted Unreal. That's real nice. That's really nice. I guess that means that we finally completed this area though. Because I think everything is in place. Everything moves where it should move, and it doesn't move when it shouldn't move, and yeah, good shit. You know what's the funniest damn thing though? Is if we just made this with like streaming in and out these assets, it'll be it would have been so much easier to do. Because if we just made this into its own separate streaming level that just gets like loaded in when we're inside of this area, and then automatically like Unreal has stuff for this, right? It would have been so much easier. Yeah, I probably should have done that. I don't know why I didn't. Because async streaming can end up with you walking into an area that's not technically like fully loaded yet, but for like 5, in this case 3 assets, it's like 5 assets over here. That's not going to be an issue. And that will make it just so that, okay, when we enter through here, they get loaded in, and when we exit through there, they get unloaded. Just as easy as that. Yeah, probably should have done that. Still can do that. Let's just try that real quick, actually. Create new, empty level, purple. Let's make a new folder for sub levels. 113 wall pushers. Because these can just literally go into here, right? Move select access to streaming level. Yeah, and then the trigger volumes won't work anymore, but we'll... That's actually good, because that means that they won't be the issue. And then I think it's just called a streaming volume or something. A level streaming volume, there we go. We can just say, hey, whenever we're inside this stuff is loaded, and when we're not, it's not. It's just that easy. Let's make a little tool so that I can see the line. Yes, I actually do want that line to not be... Okay, so that is actually, that is a limitation to it, is that it kind of does need to be in a box shape, I think. Maybe I can assign multiple streaming values so I can make things that are not box shaped. But that does mean that this now only gets loaded in once we get to like this area over here, which might be a little on the late side. Because if we load it in any more to the left, we can load it in while we're in this hallway, which is not ideal. But let's see actually, because we might be able to... Is it in world settings? No, I think it's in... level details. So yeah, it actually responds to multiple level volumes as well if you wanted to. So we can say level volume, this one. Oh, this is in the not in the persistent level. Let me move that over to persistent. So yeah, then I can just copy this one over and just make this. Let's put level details in here. If I just make this like very, well, not very thin, but something like this should be good enough. As long as we're in here. It's not exact like science. But now the moment I get down here, it should load everything in. And when I leave here, it should just unload everything. Which I think is an easier way to deal with all this shit. Than doing this through trigger volumes, maybe? What do you guys think? Trigger volumes or level streaming? Because this level should now be not loaded, so none of these things exist. So they can't push through either. But then when I go down here, without any like hitching, because it's level streaming done asynchronously, it now exists in here. It just moved out of the way, I think. Wait. I think I did it. I did a dum-dum. I think I did a dum-dum. Yeah, I replaced the level streaming thing. You need to actually have both of them in there. It's my bad. So let's try it again. We play from here again, just to prove a point. Things don't exist in here. This way it also doesn't take up like any resources while they don't exist. And now that we're in this level streaming volume, I can just go forward a little bit and they all exist, right? But then if I let's just platform up here, because I think the level streaming volume doesn't cover everything up on like that balcony area either. But I can just easily move around in here and have everything exist. But the moment I leave this, we will see that jump is a little awkward, not gonna lie. But yeah, the moment we leave this area, which is gonna be like somewhere around there, it disappears again. But then when I enter it again, it reappears. It doesn't technically reappear, I think. It makes a new one. It streams them in new. So I think this is probably a better way to do it than having those trigger volumes. And we can still keep the functions on there for the trigger volumes. Why the fuck is this one so ridiculously large? Just in case we need it at any point in time, right? Because it can still be nice to pause things instead of unloading them. But I do think that this is probably the better way to deal with this. So let's just like pull one of these up here. And this way it will also be possible to make something that allows, not quite. No, never mind. I was going to say that allows you to easily jump down these areas and then still have everything work and not need this wall anymore. But this wall was entirely separate from like that issue. So yeah. I'm going to go with level streaming, I think. do be aware again, if you do this with a lot of actors, it does take like a minute. Well, not literally a minute, but it takes a bit to load everything in. So there might be a situation where you come up to something and not everything is loaded in yet. That is a thing that can happen. But as you say, good to know. I haven't messed with creating level designs yet, so I don't even level streaming as a thought. I'm gonna ruin video games for you. Yeah, I think Final Fantasy VII is going to be the best example. Final Fantasy VII that I have installed right now, because it'll take like a grand total of 5 seconds for me to run into an example of this. But there's a reason modern games have barely any loading screens. Oh, I don't have. Oh, that's why I haven't been. Okay. I don't have my PS4 5 controller logged in, and that's because they all use level streaming. And you might be thinking, oh, that's kind of cool. That's how that works. Yeah, but they like 90% of modern games do something else instead, and it's actually like infuriating once you realize what's going on. So let me just fucking what is a good one to show this off with? It's actually a fantastic question. We might need to play through a little bit here to make this work. We can skip through a lot of cutscenes, that'll help. Don't want to have to do a boss fight though. This is gonna take a while. Let's just see easy mode, please. Hello, Cloud. Bye, Cloud. I guess hello back, Cloud. Of course, you let me run. No Anybody joining the stream right now is going to be so confused as to why we have this game running. But I just want to prove a point.
Are you hurt? No.
Okay. We were waiting for that. Now the sprint button is going to be unlocked. Right. Now the sprint button is going to be unlocked, so I can actually walk at a decent pace. There we go. So this game is pretty bad at doing it in a good way. You can shut up, please. I just want to show the people a thing. This is an example of it. But this ladder, for instance, is a real good example of it. This takes 2 to 5 business days to go up. It's not actually, this ladder isn't that bad. But oftentimes, I know that, I don't even know, I've never played Classic mode on Final Fantasy VII, don't know what. Do they use their own abilities now? Is that what happens? I don't know. Oh, this is not good for my bitrate, I bet.
I'm ready. One step at a time, huh?
So yeah, this ladder, for instance, it's pretty long. The level training volume just extends down to the start of this ladder. And it takes like 5 seconds to 10 seconds to come up this ladder. Which is effectively just a loading screen.
Coming through.
That's how most modern games do that shit. They don't have loading screens, they just have places where you very slowly walk or climb up an area to give the game time to load stuff in the background.
That's the way to do it.
But in my opinion, and this is a thing that really like annoys me about a lot of things, in my opinion, that's worse than a loading screen, because that's a loading screen at which point you need to keep holding a button for it to actually progress, instead of a loading screen that just lets you sit back for a second. Where do I actually progress? Oh, there we go. These ladders are a pretty like good example of them. A lot of games, I know that the Jedi Survivor and like Fallen Order games do this a lot as well, where you end up crawling or like going through very like narrow little pieces of hallway, or just generally walking through a long hallway that don't have much going on in it. Whenever that happens, the game is loading the next piece of content in the background. And once you notice this, gaming is ruined for you forever. There's no way to not notice it at that point, because anything made after like 2014 or something like that, 2012, does this a lot. And I hate it. I've considered doing it for my game as well, because my game especially could probably make it entirely seamless, like without any loading screens.
So that's where we have to climb?
But I don't know. I kind of like the idea that a little like loading screen separates certain like parts of your game, gives you like a moment to step back, does things for the pacing as well. Anyway, at this point we're just playing Final Fantasy, because I don't think I'm gonna get the hallway that I had in mind in this area, to be honest with you. But those ladders also do a pretty good job at explaining the point. Yeah, there's gonna be like a lot more like mob fights before we get anywhere. So I'm just gonna return to title screen, pretty please, and we'll go back into Unreal Engine for a bit until I end the stream. So yeah, that happens quite a lot in modern video games, and I have opinions about it. But the player's immersion, yeah, but no. In some games that's relevant, and especially if you're like making something that is supposed to be open world, you don't want to have too many loading screens, of course. But in a lot of games, it's fine if there's like a loading screen for a bit. And I actually think that it can like help with the feeling of pacing, and like those old olden games days, whatever, you can put the words in that sentence in order yourself. They would have like little gameplay tips on the loading screens, and in things like Rayman 2 is a fantastic example. There it shows like little artwork screens of the level that you're about to enter, which is like a really nice little primer of this is what we're about to do. If you get rid of loading screens, all that kind of stuff also disappears, and I think there is value in having all that. Yeah, also just climbing that ladder, like that little bit of it that you just saw was not even that bad. There's areas in the game where you like climb through a narrow like gap, and it takes like 2 minutes to go through, which is extra insulting, because what if your PC is done loading it before 2 minutes, right? It's entirely made on how long it takes a PS4 to load it in. And then, like, after a couple of minutes of gameplay, you go through another one of those narrow hallways where I'm like, why didn't you just, like, load everything in at once while we're doing that anyway? I can't imagine it's that much more, because it's mostly reused assets anyway. Apparently not. Apparently they do have, like, a lot of unique assets for this stuff in that game. But in Final Fantasy VII, it's particularly, it happens a lot in certain areas. Like, for anybody who cares, like, just after, like the midpoint of the game, I would call it, where the, does this extend into areas where I don't want it to? Let's hide these three so that I don't. Yeah, I think this is definitely extending too far. Yeah, maybe don't do it that far out. And these little bits also can work for pacing reasons, right? If you want people to, there's like this area where you're trying to like get away from the bad guys, and adding those little like hallways to it to slow you down artificially can increase tension. So it also has its merits in pacing, like to be 100% fair. And I guess I can just use this level streaming volume for both of those things, right? Yeah, definitely can. Yeah, so let's... Where does this volume end? Can I just make the... You can make them hollow, because they're just brushes, and that's kind of nice. I feel like I was in the middle of a thought and then I interrupted myself. Was I saying anything like insightful or interesting? Because if not, I won't bother trying to to remember. Yes, I think we're in there, and then this little area over here we also want to have it in. I'm just gonna set this back to like 100, 100, and 100, so I can actually see what I'm doing. It's probably good enough. Maybe it should be a little wider, actually. Couldn't hurt. Oh yeah, I was bitching about level streaming. Yeah, so that's how that works in most modern games. I don't know, 2014-ish is a rough guess. That's not like a hard and fast like cutoff point of when people started doing this, but I feel like that's roughly where we're at. I need to make a streaming level for this stuff actually before I do anything else. So it's just these three pieces, right? Oh, that's definitely gonna be an issue. We'll see. I can just remove all the walls and we'll... Well, no, I cannot do that. Well, I can, but I shouldn't. Add new 113 key challenge. My GPU is fucking working. To be fair, I did just have both my Unreal Project and Final Fantasy open, and it's not even that bad. It's at 42 degrees right now. The cooler I have on this thing is fucking fantastic. Because I don't think I've seen my GPU go above like 55 degrees. And while I'm heavily using it, like while I'm exporting a video or while I'm like playing games, the temperature in my room does go up by like a degree or two per hour. So it's fantastic at dissipating heat. Which I'm glad about, because I was kind of worried about it. Yeah, key challenge, that's where we're gonna put these things. Move selected actors to level. Yeah. Okay. Level details. Streaming volumes. This one, the first. Then this one is what encompasses the entire thing, right? It's kind of hard to see. Again, I think wireframe does actually work out much better here. Yeah, so I think this should move a little bit that way, and then And go back into lit mode and make sure that this doesn't clip through the wall here. And then this can move a little like that, so we're always inside, I think. Pretty sure we're always inside now. So that's the other downside to using level streaming volumes, especially in a tight space like this. It can be kind of tricky to figure out if you're always properly inside of it or not. But you can also very easily reuse level streaming volumes. So there's upsides and downsides to every bit of it. I think there's like one in this wall, like an edge. I think that's the wrong one. Yeah, that's the wrong one. Think, is it the last one that I added? No, it's the second to last one that I added. So it's this one. Can just choose them from a drop down menu. Wireframe, please. Yeah, I think what we need to do is we just need to play from here. That's right. I think it uses your camera position, not your character position, to decide where you are. By default, it does that for sound attenuation and stuff like that too. It's kind of annoying. There's a way to fix that, but for now, what I'm taking out of this entire exercise is that I don't have the proper streaming volume set up for this thing, or at least that it doesn't reach. This is 3, right? So we have streaming volume 5. Which one is 1? Okay, that should be 3. Which is like a post-processing volume in that regard. So yeah, now these are all loaded in, but if I were to go over here, they are unloaded. So you see, it's not necessarily that much smoother than setting up the trigger and untrigger volumes. Specifically, if you need something that is a little bit more fine-tuned than just being a block or a box. I guess level streaming volumes technically can also be other things like spheres and capsules and stuff like that. And cylinders. I haven't tried that, but in theory that should definitely be possible. It can get a little tricky to add multiple level streaming volumes to that array and have like the right ones in there if you have a lot of them in your level, in your persistent level. And I need to double triple check whether or not they also properly work when this entire thing is a streaming level, but I think they should. Oh, and these don't start as being active now. They can just start as being active. That's fine now. So let's just say we start here. Like, this is the way that level streaming is quote unquote intended to be used. The way that I'm using it is like a little like overkill on steroids version of this. Did it just blip out of existence for a moment there? No, they just went into the wall and came back out. So they are good, I think, to go. No. Oh, yeah. Come on. There we go. What actually happens if... Okay. Never mind. I was going to say, what if happens if we try to like get caught between these two? It's probably going to like physics glitch the hell out. Yeah, with this it still has the issue of flipping through that even with level streaming volumes. Because there's just too much. If you can see this side and this side at the same time, you can't stop or unload this side to stop clipping through at this side. Like, best you could potentially do is like make a fucking material that makes it invisible on this side, but then you'd still have the collision of it on that side, so that's still not great. But then I guess the moment you cross over this barrier, you wouldn't be able to see this anymore, so then you can properly unload them. You could finagle your way through this, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, so I think we spent a long time setting all this up, but everything from like start to finish. Oh, the only thing that we didn't actually end up doing, I'll probably do this on my own time, is make this little area here that has like these flames. It's actually pretty easy to set up the basic idea of it. Like if we just go into blueprint, actor, DP, fire, hazard, how would we do this actually in a scalable way? I guess I would make a component out of it actually, maybe. No need to. We can just... Yeah, so the basic idea would be having a like collision box, and then having like a Niagara particle component, probably not as a child of that. We have like a fire effect. I think that's a fluid thing. Yeah, that's definitely not what we want. It would be cool, but I think this is pretty heavy. I'm going to be rendering all of them, so maybe don't. I don't think I have a simple fire. All like gas simulation. I'll just make a fire system at some point. Does Niagara not come with like a default fire system? I guess we can just kind of use this for now. So yeah, when this would be active, what we would do is pretty much like set timer by event. time would be like 5 seconds. Custom event, we would flip flop, not flip normals. And we would generate overlap events, full to true, and then to false. But first we would probably do the Niagara thing, and then like activate. And then here we deactivate it. I guess the moment we deactivate, we immediately want to set overlap events to false, but here we want to put in a little bit of a delay, which probably should be a variable. Time between active and overlap, something like that. Long name, but it describes what it does. So yeah, this will now every 5 seconds turn this thing off, and then turn it on, and then turn it off, and then turn it off, and then on, and then off, and then on, and then off, and whatever. And instead of set time, what we could maybe do actually, maybe a little bit better, is custom event activate hazard, and then this would be deactivate hazard. Very badly spelled. And if we just throw in some delays for these as well. We can now individually say, hey, it needs to stay on for so long and then be off for so long. So it's just a little bit more like there we go. It's just a little bit more like design friendly instead of it being stuck to a loop that flip flops. So active time passive time. Active time will set to 2 seconds by default, and then the passive time will set to like 4 seconds by default or something like that. And then I guess we have a start delay as well, so that we can make offsets with them fairly easily. So start delay. And after the initial start delay, we'll activate the hazard. So yeah, this is just for like the one Niagara system, and the collision box. Ideally, what we would want is a variable that sets the size of the collision box and then procedurally adds Niagara components to match the proper amount of like space that it takes up. But for that, you need to know how big a Niagara system is and how like far apart they should spawn. So that should be a value in and of itself. So that's an entire like thing that we're not going to be doing right now. But this is the basic idea of what that would look like. So you'd probably like make a system that has like a 0.2 second warning where it starts glowing before an actual flame spurts out. And then that first emitter doesn't loop and the flame does loop. Something like that. So only when it initially first got activated do you get the little glow at the bottom that like warns you and whatever. or maybe you can't do that on a perimeter thing. I think you can. Just real quick check that, because right now I'm curious. Just go into this. This only has one emitter anyway. But I think you can set the looping. Yeah, so you can set the emitter itself for the like warning thing to only loop once. And then the flames themselves can loop infinitely. So when you trigger the Niagara system, it'll work that way. So maybe that's what we'll do next time. Maybe I'll do it on my own time, I don't know. But that's the only thing that we really need to still put in here, so that we can like have these things become dangerous, because they need to be. And then we'll be done with this entire thing, and it'll have been like 5 hours of work with me getting distracted for like an hour straight. But man, this has been a pretty good level to work on, not gonna lie. And then I think next time on the next stream, Tuesday, we'll do that, but that's probably not going to take that much time if it isn't already like made by the time we get to that. I do have like videos to write and edit and voice this weekend, so maybe I won't have a lot of time to work on stuff, but we'll see. Once this level is done though, which it almost is, we only have a little bit left to do. And that little bit that we have left to do is this room, which I still don't know what we're going to do with, but we're going to figure that out on the fly. Then we have another one of these hallways, which is a little like 30 minutes of work, because it's going to be more or less exactly the same as this. It's going to be a staircase down, going into an area right away, and another staircase down into the other area. And then we have the first area that it leads into. We just need to make all together. For now, that's probably just gonna put to the sideline, because I need to decide what content is gonna go in there, and I haven't done that yet. And then the other thing that we still need to do is this one, but this one doesn't really have any gameplay. Aside from like checking these 3 keys and removing this part if the 3 keys are met. So I don't need to like block anything out for that anymore. This can just stay in the state that it is in. And then the boss room itself also can just kind of stay in its current state, because like it's pretty much like good to go. And we'll have a playable second dungeon. Or a first dungeon if you don't count the tutorial, which is temporary anyway. So we're going to leave it there for now. It's been a good one. We made some slower but still good progress. Oh, I guess we also need to do something with that infinite combat room, or that like grinding room or whatever. I just put a room in there for the purposes of, hey, if you need to like level grind, just gonna put in a spawner that spawns in a bunch of enemies. And you can just grind, get experience. Because it's going to be really tedious if you have to go like back and forth between these rooms to do that. But aside from that, we have everything in place. So I'm actually quite happy with all this. I'll be back on Tuesday with more of this. And I'm going to... Oh, hey, the flies made it out of the bathroom. It's on my fridge now. You're not going to steal my food, you fucker. I'll see you later. Bye.